I think what keeps me in the field is that excitement about where are we going as a career. We are becoming more codified in being able to start patient care and help patients in the pre-hospital realm in a more holistic way. We want our students to be better than us. That's the legacy and the give back that we want to give to the community and to the career. I am certainly very excited that we are starting to recognize preceptorship and clinical as the true third education part of classes. Being an educator on an ambulance is such a hard job. You don't know what that next call is going to be, and you do have to have the ability to connect all of the dots and to connect the theory and the methodology of education to create those light bulb moments on who knows what that next topic is going to be. The reality of life and death situations that we deal with on an ambulance and training a student intern at the same time as mitigating those things and being patient and being kind and being understanding is something that we are wonderfully moving forward towards. My name is Meghan Williams. I am the Paramedic Program Director and an Associate Professor at BMCC. My background in EMS is a little bit varied. It was not my career field that I was growing up to do. I accidentally fell into it, and at 18 just started volunteering as an EMT. As I fell in love with being an EMT and patient care, I also wanted to do more and better in the career. So it has just been a 20-year career of just what else can I do better to give back and to really make the career progress as much as possible. What inspired me to become paramedic was just like many of the stories that I hear from people coming to this paramedic program or any paramedic program, that we became EMTs. I fell in love with it and really just enjoyed the social healing part of that and being an EMT, but also was a little perturbed and upset about not being able to do more. So I hear the story a lot. I fall right in line with that as well, that I wanted to do more. I wanted to do better for the patients. I wanted to do better for people in general, and was certainly a little frustrated knowing that there could be better, but I couldn't do it. I was failing people. So becoming a paramedic became the next step. I was delayed by a little bit because not having grown up in New York City, I thought that we had to drive as part of a paramedic class, which did delay me because I was terrified of driving in New York City. Joke is on me as I now work in lower Manhattan. But yeah, the driving force for becoming a paramedic is, who am I to say that other people are going to do it if I'm not willing to do it, and that I wasn't doing well enough for my patients and for people in general. That's exciting. I think what keeps me in the field is that excitement about where are we going as a career. We are really coming into our own as a career field, that it is not just that we are transporting patients to hospitals and averting anaphylaxis or administering Narcan and helping them to breathe again. We are moving into medicine and pre-hospital care. We are becoming more codified in being able to start patient care and help patients in the pre-hospital realm in a more holistic way and in a more safe and healthy way for ourselves as providers as well. So I see it as our career field expanding into medicine that starts at the patient's door or in the street, as opposed to waiting to get to a hospital. And I also see it as becoming more of a qualified career to take care of our own and to make sure that it is not just eating our young and it is not just let's get through the day and it is a stepping stone. It is really exciting to see the career blossom and move forward. 20 years ago, it was associate's degrees are the rare unicorn and not really necessary. And it served its purpose at that point. I think as the career builds and grows and the scope of practice grows, becoming more structured in a bachelor's degree program or a master's degree program is the appropriate credit to give all of the work that we're already doing. And it really does help to push us forward, not necessarily monetarily wise, but in being able to critically think and have some of the other skills that we might not normally practice in a paramedic or an EMT class. It allows for people to get credit for writing an English class and filling the gaps for PCR documentation, which is historically kind of left behind and not specified enough in any particular level of class. So I think that giving credit where credit is due, and that includes a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, is definitely the way to go. Ooh, I am so biased, mostly because I chose to be here, take on the legacy that was built here, that people here continue between Maddie Fong, Frank Mineo, Jean Iannuzzi, all of the people that have come before me. And of course, Dr. Sixsmith, who has started in the 1980s in this program and builds this program. I am so blessed and just lucky to be here at BMCC to say that all of those strengths of the people that have added in here and all of the strengths of having a community college and the administrators behind supporting the programs, that when I come to them and I go, what do you think about building an ambulance in the other room? They initially cringe and then say, how would you do it? All of the crazy ideas that seem crazy on the surface, and that's what drives this program. And it's truly a team that we all pull our efforts and pull them together, and our passion really comes through. So one person might have a passion for mental health, and for that person, they now have the ability, because of the structure here, to make that passion a reality, whether it's teaching the psychological trauma prevention class and bringing in actors. But this team and BMCC has so many strengths of the different people that are part of the team and passionate about the areas they're passionate in, that we have the support of administration to be able to grow in those ways. We have the knowledge and the background of many of the teammates have specializations on national levels of simulation or hazmat or critical care. A lot of our staff members have advanced degrees that have allowed them to get more information and pull that specialization in. So I think BMCC, having all of those things come together, and the ability of staff members to kind of do above and beyond as a team and forward thinking as a team, not as an individual, not as a me, not as a, well, my ego is more important. It is truly a team that moves forward towards, well, how would this affect the region? How would this affect the state? What are we doing on a national level in this career field? And our ultimate question of how do we give back? How do we make it better? And it is a privilege across the board to be in a position to do those things. I think being part of a team that recognizes we're not the experts in everything and that we are not perfect and that we're not particularly better than anyone else, let's say teaching or education, we are extremely passionate and give a lot of time to make those opportunities happen and to connect the things that we wish we had instead of looking back and saying, well, we didn't have them. And so you're not going to. And I think that those characteristics and the culture that that creates makes it an absolute blessing and privilege to be able to do what we do here and to be really proud of what we do here and wanting people to do better. And we really, at the end of the day, and we say it on day one, we want our students to be better than us. And that's the legacy and the give back that we want to give to the community and to the career. And I am beyond blessed and privileged to be able to have teammates that are on the same page and really good at so many things that I am not, which is fantastic. I feel extremely rewarded to be able to do and fill some gaps that I see where I can help, and it's all about helping to me. So I fall very much victim to, I don't want to say no to opportunities, and I don't want to say no to seeing all this potential that could potentially happen, and to seeing where it can go, the career field or a particular project or EMS in general. And so that has definitely kept me in the career field because there's so much monumental growth that has happened, even in my short career in EMS and in EMS education. So I really enjoy seeing where the career field is going, and I really get tremendous pleasure out of when it does help a student, when it does help another person, and whether that's a patient on the ambulance or that is a fellow coworker, staff member, teammate, student that just says, you know what, that helped a little bit. That certainly keeps me in the career field and very interested in motivating and being a part of it progressing and seeing those outcomes. And then, quite frankly, working as part of a team, whether it's at BMCC or within the college or within the city or the state or the nation, having just the curiosity of seeing what other people are doing and how they're doing it better, how they're doing it differently, seeing those conversations with people, having those conversations with people, and being inspired and motivated by so many good things that people are doing, ignoring the things that I just scratch my head at, which happens occasionally, as it does in any career field. But I certainly think that focusing on all that positive stuff of, wow, these people are doing this and those people are doing that, and I can learn from this and we can grow that way, has kept me very interested in this career field. Really, what I love about this program is that we have branched out into AI, whether it is using it towards, for example, yesterday we were talking about ABGs and we were talking about how to calculate asset-based derangements, etc. And in that capacity, I had the ability to use AI really quickly and say, write me up a whole bunch of questions for practice questions. I think AI is really exciting to be able to bring in appropriate manners to make us more efficient and more practical in our critical thinking and really make us learn quicker and not have to spend so much time. And I think AI used properly is really helpful. We're also using it for patient care scenarios. We're using apps as well, whether it's Muru or Handkevi or Full Code. We're using a number of different apps and technology to kind of fill these gaps and gamify education, which I'm really excited about. I am also excited about some of the partnerships that we continue to grow to expand the experiences that we have with other agencies, whether it is the fire department, whether or not it is transport companies that we're going to work with, whether or not it's critical care. that we are going to offer rotations for. It's really expanding into the future and seeing BMCC do more high fidelity, augmented reality, virtual reality, and then bringing in the reality of patient care and empathy and mental health and how we become more resilient. So I think the growth of the program overall is what I get really excited about, but also where I see this program moving towards. When I got involved in 2001, I would say from there to here is just such immense change. And I don't think that we're even keeping up with that change, which is not necessarily a bad thing across the board. I think we have to recognize that we are growing so exponentially that it is hard to keep up with all of the change. And I think that we shouldn't stop the change. We should just recognize that it is going to take a little bit more patience. The things that I've seen that have changed and that are continuing to change and that I'm very excited about. I am certainly very excited that we are starting to recognize preceptorship and clinical as the true third education part of classes. So we obviously have people sit in lectures and didactics and learn information in the classes, and then they apply it in skills and their lab work. And as preceptors, they're not really just preceptors, they are educators. So I'm very excited to see that it is becoming more qualified and organized in when students are going on rotations to have the proper educational experience. And being an educator on an ambulance is such a hard job because you don't know what that next call is going to be. And you do have to have the ability to connect all of the dots and to connect the theory and the methodology of education to create those light bulb moments on who knows what that next topic is going to be. I think the reality of life and death situations that we deal with on an ambulance and training a student intern at the same time as mitigating those things and being patient and being kind and being understanding is something that we are wonderfully moving forward towards, as opposed to the sit in the back, eat your young kind of culture that back in my day, what we started out with. So I'm very excited to see that, and I think that that's not everybody's experience, but it's certainly something that we have an experience of in New York, and certainly was my experience and a lot of people's experiences. So I'm very excited to see the educational component starting to shift a little bit, that it gives it the credit that it's due. I think in that as well, we are moving towards more education, being it's not just you're a great provider and therefore you'll be able to talk towards the class. It's being able to create those light bulb moments in education, where yesterday we were talking about osmosis, diffusion, etc. And those were traditionally concepts that I struggled a lot with. And so we broke out the food coloring and the ice cubes and the boiling water and a couple of gummy bears, and we did some experiments. And I think that those things of being an educator have moved along as well. And I'm really excited to see that as the career progresses, those components are progressing as well, that we are doing better for patient care. We are bringing in the medicine that the patient needs, and as much as possible, bringing it into the field, whether or not it's talking about intubations, alternative airways, airway management, talking about some of the mental health components as well for our patients and for us. I think all of that progress over the last 20 years that I've been involved in EMS is really exciting to see, and not to have us kind of at our throats as much as we have been from back in the day. Still progress, still not where we want it to be, and I think that's where the patience level comes in, that I'd love all these problems to be solved. But I think that's where we are progressing enough to be frustrated that we're not further. And I think patience in that realm makes us able to continue to progress. 20 years ago, we would have this massive rift between, well, that's how you were taught in the classroom, but that's not how it applies. So cool, you passed class, but now all the learning begins, and now we actually get you into the field, and you can forget about all of those things that got you to pass the test. And I'm glad to see that in the 20 years we're starting to progress towards, well, no, there's a time and a place. And the 52 points or so that you get on a patient assessment skills lab, BSI, my scene is safe, that you never go into a house and say or do, isn't because it doesn't translate into the field. It's because those things you're proving during class to make sure that you're going to do it unconsciously and subconsciously in the field. But we're no longer at odds saying, well, you're never going to do that in the field. You're going to do it subconsciously. And so I'm really excited about the gap being closed more and more as this career progresses to each part of the educational realm of learning how to be an EMT, a CFR, an EMR, a paramedic, a critical care paramedic. As each progresses, we are getting closer and closer together in a more unified way to teach everyone. So there's a lot of massive progress that occurs and continues to occur, which is exciting. What makes it worth it to be an educator in general, and then specifically at BMCC, is I look forward to coming in each and every day to see teammates, to see students, which we consider part of the team as well, to interact with alumni, to interact with people outside of BMCC and see where they have ideas and thoughts and where we're going. And I think it's a very exciting career field to stay in and to continue to improve upon and to be part of people's ideas, inspirations to strive to make this better. I think we are very privileged and humbled to be, and I certainly am very privileged and humbled to be in this career field where we get to be close to altruistic about helping other people and our lives to a certain extent, when appropriate, stop for us to help that other person. And whether that's on an ambulance or whether or not that's in the classroom, whether or not it's for our partners, I think those are the things that make this career field amazing and is just something that this career field has above all other career fields. It is a phenomenal family, a little bit of trauma bonding, but a phenomenal family to be a part of. And that's really exciting, to meet new people, to see new people, and to see how they're improving in their lives and then improving across the board and as a career field. So every day is a new day and certainly exciting.